Conservative women are just taking the headlines left and right these days as strong women in America continue to grow their companies and move forward in ways that we haven't seen in a lifetime. That and much more on this episode of The Crude Truth.
In 1901, at Spindletop Hill near Beaumont, the future of Texas changed dramatically as, like a fountain of fortune, thousands of barrels of oil burst from the earth towards the sky. Soon, Detroit would be cranking out Model Ts by the millions, and America was on the move, thanks to the black gold being produced in Texas. Now, more than a century later, the vehicles are different, but nothing else has truly changed. Sure, there may be many other alternative energy sources like wind and solar and electric. But let's be honest, America depends on oil and entrepreneurs, and if the USA is truly going to be independent, it has to know the crude truth.
Well, my guest today is someone that is nationally known. If you've ever heard of Mom Me Makeover, she is a fashion designer. And if you catch her on the weekends, she's probably knocking on the doors on and she's probably knocking on the doors anywhere in America to try to get that conservative vote out there. My guest today, Ola Hawatmeh. Ola, how are you?
Doing well. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, well, thank you for coming to the great state of Texas. I appreciate it. You're from New York, correct?
Yes, I am. I am from New York, and you are right. Weekends, I am working with different candidates throughout the entire country. Right now, we're at a breaking point, and people are asking me, what is one person going to do? What kind of difference? How can you save America? Mm-hmm. I look at what's happening in America. And as a business owner, as a conservative, as a mother, you're concerned about what's happening. So I decided to work with different candidates throughout the country and motivate them and start grassroots campaigning. And it's been great because people lose hope. When they see what's going on, they become fearful because that's what the left wants to put in your mind, to be afraid.
Yes.
And when you're afraid, you surrender.
Yes.
And my message is do not surrender, never give up, and never give in. And motivating candidates that probably you would think, don't have a chance, they don't have much money. All they need is that push and people to believe in themselves, mm-hmm. and then others around them to believe in them. Because we need true, honest, good-hearted, hardworking people in office. We don't need politicians. We don't need people that are going to go in and be machines for the party. We need people for the people.
Wow, the way you're talking about that, I mean, you just described every American, well, as far as I'm concerned, every American, good, honest, hardworking, because that is what we are here in America. We're not, there's 1%, and then there's the rest of us, and we all work hard on a daily basis. I know I have to, and I got to, as I got to put my pants on one leg at a time, and I got to go out the front door every day and go to work to cash that paycheck,
yes.
so to speak. And with you doing this conservative grassroots, you're doing that a lot on the East Coast, and I cannot fathom that. I mean, you're literally swimming with crocodiles.
I'm in the devil's den.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about that. I mean, I cannot
I'm in the devil's den, and I love, it's very challenging. Yeah. But we have to start where it's most corrupt. Mm-hmm. The swamp creatures do not scare me. They can't call me a racist or a sexist or a feminist. And I'm very faith-based as well. So,
well, you say, you're not a racist, you're not a sexist, and you're not a feminist. Obviously, let's talk a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about your background, Mommy Makeover, and what you got going on.
So I started Mommy Makeover when I was 29 years old. I was 29 years old, and I had just moved. We lived in Tampa for 1 year, and I came to realize I want to start a company for mothers, because sometimes, kids don't do as they're told, they do as they see. And being around so many other moms, it was the first year I'd come back to Missouri from Tampa, and I said, okay, I'm going to put together a 5-star team and start working with women to help them regain their confidence.
Yeah.
So I started Mom Me Makeover, and there's a saying, if you can start a company in St. Louis, you can start it anywhere in the country.
Okay.
So it became a huge success. I put together a makeup artist, hairstylist from Beverly Hills, in-home trainer, stylist, a 5-star team, and the first year it was wonderful. We made a lot of profit, and then the second year I said, okay, when you're blessed, you give back. I started Makeover for a Cause.
Okay.
So I started donating makeovers to kids with cancer,
Okay.
and disabled veterans, abused women, anyone that needed a makeover that couldn't afford it. Whoever reached out to me, I never said no. I would go out and put together wardrobe, hair and makeup, because just making a difference and instilling or helping others see the light
Yeah.
that shines in them. It just to see that transformation is so amazing. So it was just wonderful. And 2 years later, I became a fashion designer. I never studied fashion, and I didn't study business. I graduated from Marist with a degree in communications journalism. So so I've always been, my work ethic definitely comes from my father.
Okay.
First generation, and he's 71. He still works every day of his life. So I always had that drive in me mixed with that passion to make a difference. No matter what I do, whether it be politics, fashion, or being a business owner, the bottom line, it's the same thing, making a difference. How can I make a difference? To me, that's success. So becoming a fashion designer was very challenging, especially in New York.
Yeah.
So I launched in Fashion Week the first year. Why not?
Okay.
And the feedback was so-so, but I learned so much. And then as I grew,
Yeah.
I went back to my roots of giving back. So my models became troubled teens, kids with cancer, veterans. So it was a runway for others to help them regain their confidence. And it's amazing to look back at some of my models that I've worked with who were troubled and in the wrong path, and their moms would reach out to me. And now to see them as supermodels and posting on Instagram all these pictures, feeling confident about themselves, and they pass that forward.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. I mean, how are we going to save tomorrow?
Yes.
We can't save tomorrow if there's no saving today.
Oh, you're absolutely right about that. That if we're not focused on how we can just be better people, we lost, and hopefully we get back to see something, say something. And, we kind of lost that after 9/11, I feel
Yes,
like.
yes.
And we're at the point now to where we need to really be just, if you see, I mean, the easiest example is, you're here in Texas, and, our great motto is don't mess with Texas. And one of the many great mottos. And so, you see a piece of trash on the ground, pick it up, throw it away. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, And with the confidence levels, I know that even with things going on that are out of our control, sometimes we feel like, oh, what, you kind of just, but we got to get back up. And,
Yes.
I know a lot of people are actually right now, here you're in, you're conservative. You're in the fashion industry, which there's not a lot there of conservatives. So I can't imagine. I bet being here in Texas, you kind of feel like, okay, it's kind of these are my people.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. I can drive.
And we're proud Texans, and a lot of us are conservative here in the great state, and I think it really has to do, not only with our beliefs in our economy. People vote with their beliefs and their pocketbook.
Absolutely. Well, you would think that's the same case in New York, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. And working in fashion, I've worked almost everyone they were liberals and very left thinking. Like no one was, I didn't work with conservatives or Republicans, like no way.
Yeah.
In fact, I lost a lot of friends when I got into politics, but that's something, I mean, I will never, ever compromise my values, no matter what I'm doing, where I'm at. It'll never happen. I can't be shaken and I can't be changed. Like that's my core. My core are my conservative views, my conservative beliefs.
Yeah.
So opportunity will never come before loyalty.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, so New York is definitely, I wish that they can see what's happening with their taxes, with everything around them and change, but it's not.
And you know, you being there, and I'm not somebody that gets entrenched in somewhere like New York and their politics, but my biggest example is AOC, Miss Cortez, and I'll be nice, Miss Cortez, and that she basically did not allow Amazon, and I don't know all the back workings, but
No.
to come into her district.
No.
And they voted her back in.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't understand how you can vote somebody back in office after they shut down, 10,000
I'm
new jobs?
so glad you brought that up because I am with you 1,000%. When I ran for Congress, that is one thing that I wanted to do. There are all these rundown buildings and IBM that's shut down, like everything. Why don't we bring on Amazon? Why did she? I mean, those are jobs. People are looking for jobs.
Yes.
But it's insane. I mean, she could have opened the doors to an opportunity, but she just shut it down. What's the reasoning? I have no idea.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you know, we're not afraid. We don't say no to a lot of people here. I mean, our great governor, Greg Abbott, he's always inviting more and more companies to come from New York, from California. You know?
encouraging growth.
Yes, and that is the way it's supposed to be. I mean, you look here and here at our Dallas studio, and there's nothing but growth going on in the city
It's
of Dallas and Fort
beautiful.
Worth.
It's
Yes.
beautiful. That's why, you know, conservatives, they enjoy growth. And they enjoy, I mean, I love seeing that, but it seems like, you know, that's not the case in New York and the districts that I'm working in. And it's how do you motivate these leaders where money and power aren't a priority, and especially if you're a parent and they're concerned about our future.
Yeah. You know, I grew up with the good old fashioned, the Ten Commandments, and that should be a baseline. And I think, you know, and I'm not a religious expert, but I think that the Ten Commandments are pert near the same in any language for them, or excuse not language, religion. You know, they're a model, and I think that's something that we can all grow on. And then Jesus talks about it in the New Testament, and he doesn't call them the Ten Commandments, but they're the same thing that he talks about.
Absolutely.
And you know, there is right and there's wrong, and there's also just being a good person and saying thank you and how may I help you, and here let me hold the door for you. You know,
Absolutely.
I've got a pair of jumper cables, and I've helped strangers on the side on the side of the road, and I would hope that someday somebody would help me as well, and that's what it's about, just helping, giving back when
It
you
is.
can.
I completely agree. But times are changing and people are changing, and they're putting their agenda down our children's throats. Anywhere I go, I always wear, and I brought you one.
Oh.
Ola, I stand for the flag and I kneel only to the cross. Anywhere I go, I'm very open-minded. When I see flags, colorful flags everywhere,
Yeah.
and when I see, you know, girls or guys in the malls doing inappropriate things, and, you know, we're walking with our kids, well, you know what? I will be wearing whatever I want to wear. And if a child asks me, oh, who's that? Is that George Washington? We don't even know who that is.
Yeah.
You know, my
Yeah.
party like it's 1776 hat. They have no clue.
And that's
Or
a
and they
shame.
ask me a question, and I love wearing my USA shirts and things that kind of symbolize what I believe in. Well, you know what? I'm going to be a billboard to what I believe in, America.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And
that's-
if I have to wear a shirt, now you gave me an idea. I'm going to start wearing a shirt with the 10 Commandments and the Constitution in the back.
There you go. I mean, it's important. And if we're not doing these things and standing up, because the other side is, I mean, they have a whole they got as Sean Hannity calls it, they got, the Democrat Party has the media and, something else is like all behind them, and they're pounding their chest trying to get why can't we be proud to say that we're proud to be Americans and wear a United States flag, or,
Well, what's sad is they're creating segregation. They're creating division for
Yes.
power. I mean, I have no issue. Black, white, gay, straight, we're all equal under God's eyes, and we're all God's children.
Absolutely.
So why
absolutely.
create this division
I don't
and
know.
create this for power and control?
Yeah, you mentioned history and that how some of our children these days don't know what George Washington looks like.
No.
And that is a shame, that they don't know who our forefathers are. And I use quotations because I'm a Hispanic person, so obviously my real forefathers are not from England, which is that's the truth, but. They are our forefathers. They created the United States of America, and it is, as far as anybody's concerned, the greatest place in the world. We have people here at the
Absolutely.
Texas border literally dying, to get to America, because this is still the land of opportunity. And Texas, as far as I'm concerned, is where you should be if you want to grow, because we do have the Amazons, the Teslas, and great tax code and laws here that allow
Absolutely.
people to start their own businesses. But getting back to George Washington, and that they want us to forget history, because you mentioned that they're creating the segregation and all this divide. And that if they allow the younger generation, I believe, to forget history, then guess what? We will repeat that history. And that is not good at
No,
all.
it's not.
They want to wipe out the slavery part. And it's like, hey, that was bad. That was a stain on America. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Abraham Lincoln, the first Republican president, went in, and that was one of the things that he fought for, literally, or well, not him, but in the Civil War, was to get rid of slavery. But we have to remember that, hey, this is what happened, and that we can't allow it to happen again.
Yep, I agree. They're rewriting history in the next generation, and we cannot allow that to happen. And like you said earlier, I mean, people are like, oh, giving up, no hope. And that's like what I love to do, is just motivating people and encouraging them. We cannot give up.
No.
I mean, you are one person, but your voice is loud and your voice matters. And times that, there's so many conservatives. I mean, you see my LinkedIn. There are so many conservatives out there that support. And, from the followers that I have, there are obviously a few, but, there always are going to be haters. But that can't let you down or discourage you.
No.
The fear factor that they put in us. I mean, even my own party and friends, oh, you can't do this, you're afraid, even running. Oh my gosh, if you run for Congress and seats, they're going to attack. Why are we so afraid, especially at a time like now? That's so critical.
It is very critical. And, I'm glad to have you on. We're getting ready for another elections, the primaries.
Very
are almost
important,
done.
one of the most important.
And
Yep.
I believe that. And I think that if and I think it's really going to do with the presidential in 2 years, but I really hope that we see a strong conservative movement. And I don't want to call it a red wave. I'm just going to call it a conservative movement, so we can get real jobs going again.
Yes.
We can get this inflation under control. I mean, I fill up my vehicles every, I fill up my truck every day. I fill up our car. I see what goes on. And then being in the oil and gas industry, I'm watching the prices not only of a barrel of oil go up, but I'm watching all of my cost go up.
Yes.
So it's like, let's get those costs down. Obviously, with oil and gas, it'll come down as well. But it's like, we need to get this whole inflation thing under control, get our economy back on track, because obviously the pandemic, it did not help. And so hopefully we can, once November comes and we get new new people in January, we can see some real positive
Biden
movement.
administration out, yes.
Yeah.
That's key.
And I mean, you look at what happened in Wyoming.
Oh, yeah.
Representative Cheney lost in the primary.
Big
very
time.
Yes, very big. And I do still believe that if you represent a district or a state, that's who you represent and fight. I mean, I will
Correct.
use Joe Manchin for
Yes.
just for a brief second. That West Virginia is heavy oil and gas, and he whether or not he looked good or not, he had to fight. He at least fought for his people, at least on face value.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
I don't know
yes.
the man and what goes on in Washington, the halls of D.C.
Yes.
But at least at that moment, it looked like, hey, I am fighting for my people, and that was something I think that Representative Cheney didn't do there in Wyoming at
No.
all.
Oh, no. I mean, I was not shocked when I saw the results. Not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's time to wake up, America. Let's wake up.
Yes, and you're going door to door.
Yeah.
Saying, "Hey, vote for this conservative." You're doing the grassroots. How exciting is that? And what have you seen on the road on the
Well,
campaign trail?
When politicians or candidates bring me on board their campaign, I totally, I don't run a campaign like a typical politician.
Okay.
And my grassroots is totally different. I reach out to, they kind of have a walk list, they do the same protocol. No. I mean, I reach out to first the Chamber of Commerce, small business owners, people who, really matter, whether they're left or right.
Yeah.
We all have the same issue right now. So I reach out to small business owners, then I reach out to the nonprofits, then I reach out to the veterans. And so I create coalitions throughout the counties,
Okay.
in the district,
All right.
and getting them motivated. I'm not telling them, it's not about left or right. It's about doing what's right. And what's right now is us working together to improve and getting ourselves out of this mess for the sake of our children.
Yeah.
And the response is positive from both sides, Democrats and Republicans in New York, because some of the Democrats they've had enough. They've had enough. Those, not all of them, those who choose not to be controlled by the government. I went to a gas station the other day, and it was disgusting because I know the owner, and he showed me a receipt of someone that came in before. They paid by food stamps, and their food stamp credit was $5,822, and I took a picture of that.
Wow.
And it's just, and it's like, no wonder no one's working. No wonder.
Wow.
So, but those who do care about the future of America for the sake of their children,
Yeah.
they are waking up. And the message has resonated, because like I said, when I'm knocking on their door, I'm a minority female. They're more open-minded. And when I tell them my story of being a business owner just like them, being hardworking just like them, and I'm not a career politician. I'm doing this for the sake of my love for America.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this for any other reason.
You mentioned that your father is 71. My father's 70. He's still, and I'll be up front and say he still signs my paychecks. Okay.
Oh, wow.
We're a second generation oil company.
That's amazing.
And, we've had a great time, and I love it, and I wouldn't have it any other way. We're obviously, we're minorities as well. And he talks all the time that he goes, man, if my father knew that I voted Republican, he'd roll over in his grave. And, because that was the way of the Hispanic community, especially in South Texas, was you vote Democrat.
Yep.
It's like you're born a Democrat, and we still have family that does oil and gas with us that still vote Democrat, and
That's funny.
However, when Hispanics, I think, really start to come to America, or ones that are still here, and those are Mexicans that come here, and they start to they're entrepreneurs, they start to pay their taxes, they start to make a payroll, and they see the things going on, that they're more conservative and their beliefs are
Yep.
that way.
Yep.
And so I think there's that movement, and President Trump had the largest minority vote ever in this last election, and I think that really says something about minorities and Hispanics especially, that hey, we're we're understanding more, and it's like we get it, and we don't want to pay that much more
No,
taxes.
no.
We are proud
Correct.
culture, and we're not looking for the food stamps and the handouts. Like I know a lot of people that they use them for what they're there for: get back on your feet. And then they are proud to say, I earned $1. And then, and of course, we believe in the trickle-down effect at Pecos Country Energy and Pecos Country Operating because of what we do in the small towns. We employ, when we can, from the towns that we may be drilling in. And then the companies that we primarily use are small town companies. And, when you're buying gas, when you're buying food at the place, that just brings that much more money into that little economy. And that is also something that we really enjoy doing, kind of changing gears there. But we enjoy, just giving back where we can and working and doing
Absolutely,
things.
absolutely. The power of independence and freedom.
Yes.
Sometimes we take for granted, others do. And I think, now it's a wake-up call.
I know. I wish I could say that you just came to the great state of Texas just to be here on the Crude Truth. However, you also did a makeover.
Yes.
Is that correct? Can you
Yes.
give me a little bit about what you did here?
Yes. So I had posted during Veterans Day and Mother's Day, I post anyone who needs a makeover to reach out to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a gentleman who reached out to me for his wife that needed a makeover, and she never takes time for herself.
Okay.
And they can't afford it. And so I said, okay, well, I would be happy to donate a makeover. And so that was yesterday.
Oh, wow. And I can't wait to see that big reveal. I can't wait. That is awesome.
Yes.
And so people just reach out to you and you come. You flew from the up
Yeah.
north to come
Yeah.
and do that.
The last time I think I was here was during Hurricane. I came, 2000, the big hurricane. I came to help out ministries.
Really?
And yeah, Mineral Spring, I don't know how far away it is from here, but I rented a car and I drove out. And their food truck had just broken down and they were delivering food.
Wow.
So to those who were affected
By
the hurricane.
Oh, okay.
So and they're like, and the newspaper came out, they're like, oh, what are you doing here?
That
And
is
I'm like,
awesome.
it's, we have to. Every little thing that we do matters and it counts and it helps make a difference.
Wow, man, Ola, I cannot. That's awesome. That you would fly.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I hope if nothing else, people take away today that say you can help, you can do something, and don't be discouraged.
No.
And stay strong and keep moving forward. And I think if anything else, that is your motto. It's like, and I love it. So
Well, thank you. Well,
thank you
giving
so
back
much.
to a country that's given me everything is, it's something that I love doing.
And you know what? I got to say that's the crude truth right there. That, to have a country like this that gives back to everybody, you should only just give back to it. And that's awesome. Ola, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me on.
And can't wait to see who you're supporting next and see where you're going to be doing your next makeover. Thank
That
you so
sounds
much.
great.
Ola.
Thank you.
The easiest way to start your own podcast and TV show? Real News Communications Network. Stand out from your competition. Produce streams of high-quality social media content. Become a thought leader in your industry. With RNCN, you get to be the host. We handle everything else. Tour one of our 3 locations in Dallas, Fort Worth, and the Colony. Call 972-402-6333 or visit launchashow.com to find out more.